Good morning. It is great to see each one of you. And if you are up for a challenge, we're going to have it today. Teaching an adult class is a challenge, but it's also a blessing because within here there is a lot more biblical knowledge than I have. So each time that I teach an adult class, I gain much. So as we prepare for today, whenever you have a question or a response, I'm going to ask you to speak in your outside voice because I don't hear well, but I hear everything that's going on. And then I have that ringing too. So, but this is an excellent book. And if you have read it, and I pray that you have, as we study each day, because you're going to have questions or comments about something that I may not get over. And I don't know, will we go through the end of this year? I feel like we'll go through December because I think there are new programs or new classes that are going to start. So you have me for 4 months, unless they do that heart surgery and that puts me out of commission for a while. So we'll see. No definite date on that. So I went Thursday, and it's one of them. You need it, but we're not going to tell you when. So there's a lot of stuff that has to be done before then. But Fred is going to lead us in prayer this morning, not only for our class, but for any prayer requests. There are several in the bulletin, and they will cover those in the announcement. But any additional ones, or if you even want to rehearse those that are in there, that is fine. So Fred is ready to take your requests. Anybody?
The Cook family.
Cook.
Cook and his family lost their home to a fire earlier.
Yeah, I saw that. I think Molly posted that. The Cook family lost their house to a fire. So, what Cook? Travis. Huh? Oh, okay. All right. Who else? Anyone else? All right, Fred. Thank you, Fred. All right. Have you challenged yourself lately to be a leader? I know that what's on a lot of people's mind that's sitting in his one, I am not a leader. Well, if you're not leading yourself, if you're not trying to improve yourself in that, in making yourself more visible, more effective, you're failing. It's kind of abrupt, isn't it? But you have to improve yourself. And it needs to be a daily thing. You need to get up each day and say, how can I improve my leadership? Me. How can I improve me as a leader to me? Now, you say, well, I can't lead. I can't challenge myself. How many of you have, I can't challenge myself and then fail? How many of you have ever said, I'm going on a diet? I'm on one of those now, but that's medical reasons because I'm diabetic. If I don't challenge myself every morning when I get up, then the first sweet thing I see, I'm going to eat. I have challenged myself enough to know that when I go through the grocery store at the checkout counter, that Butterfinger doesn't look as good as it used to. It's not nearly as challenging for me to pass up that Three Musketeer. And the biggest one of all is just to pick up one of those Laffy Taffies. Because they got a joke on them. You know, you get to read the joke and then you get to take the benefit of it. How many of you made a New Year's resolution and then didn't get up every morning and challenge, I am going to read my Bible every day. I am going to do this every day. Or I'm not going to do this. If you failed on a resolution that you just made 8 months ago, then you're not challenging yourself as a leader. You're not challenged to lead yourself. And when we can do that, when we wake up and we challenge ourselves to be a better leader, it's got to come from within. Then it can come without. When I was in high school, I wanted to join the choir. And we went and the teacher banged on the piano and we repeated that to the best of our ears' ability. And after a while, Miss Goodwin said, you know, I need somebody to take care of the robes. Because you can't see. But that was okay. I was a good robe carrier. I didn't mind that at all. There was something that I could do in leadership. Now, why do you think the church is such a multitude of wider range of talents? Because we all can't be song leaders. We all can't be preachers. We all can't teach classes. We can teach, but we may not be able to teach in this setting. In fact, we're commanded to teach. And then when you put all of those together and you put them in there, it's like putting a whole bunch of, what is a good common sewing thread number, 60 or 40 or something like that. But anyway, but if you take one strand, how easy is it to break? But you take 150 of those and you weave them together, then how strong is it? How easily is it to break? Because we are such a multitude of people, and because we have such good time. There are many of you who do many of good things that I never hear about, and that's important. I don't need to know. That's between you and God. If you're letting me know that you're doing good things, you want me to pat you on the back, and then you've got your reward. We don't want our reward here. We want it up there. We want to be in heaven. And by doing this multitude of leaders wound together. Guess what? We're going to take somebody with us. We're going to get, I don't know how many preachers there are around the world preaching the gospel this morning, but there's a whole lot less people hearing what they need to know than there are people listening to the devil. So as we grow, we're going to grow the church. We're going to grow the kingdom here upon this earth. And then, even though the road will be narrow, we will have traveling companions on the way to eternity. So, with that in mind, what do you think about leading yourself? You ever thought about that? You ever thought about trying to build yourself up before I try to build someone else up, to encourage someone else? Now, I know that a lot of you are going to say, I am not a teacher. I am not, Mark 15, 16 and 15, Christ said, go you into all the world and teach the gospel. That is a responsibility of ours. Now, you say, well, I can't teach. You can teach people to the very point that you are at this present time. And guess what? There are other people who can pick up from there and encourage and take them on to the next level. What is the ultimate goal? Heaven. And, and it's a one-step process. You put one foot in front of the other. You have to challenge yourself. I want my neighbor. I want my friend. I want my family to be where I'm at this point today. When I reach that point with all those people, I can turn them over to an elder. I can turn them over to a preacher. I can turn them over to a good, knowledgeable person who knows the exact way that they need to be taught to get them on to the next level. I'm going to create enough interest in someone else that they want to be just like I am. What did Paul say? Y'all do just like I do as long as I am following Christ. That's not exactly word for word, but you understand what I'm talking about. We want people to be like us as long as we are following Christ and doing the examples of Christ and teaching people to be like Christ. So take responsibility. That's what you got to do. Now, there's not many words printed in the Bible before you see this word about responsibility. What was Adam to do with the Garden of Eden? Dress it, take care of it. Two things. And as thing goes along, is this little creature that crawls around for us today tempted Eve and said, can you eat of everything? Well, no, we can't eat of that tree over there. And you remember what Satan told her? The serpent told her, says, he just said, yeah, you can eat of it. You will not die. That's the only thing he said. You will not die. When God said, you will die. She ate because it looked good and it tasted good. And when she got that taste, then where did she go with it? She went to Adam with it. And Adam tasted of it. And then things became clearer to them that, we've messed up because we hear the voice of God. And so we go hide. And we have to, we can't show ourselves. And God said, well, how do you know you're naked? And they said, well, because we ate. We ate of that tree. Responsibility. What did Adam say? Huh? Eve. But watch what, did you read that real closely? Because Adam says, God, and I'm sure it's not this tone of voice that this come out, but God, you gave me that woman. Did he not blame God before he blamed Eve? And then Eve said, well, this serpent, neither one of them took the responsibility of what they had done. You've got to take the responsibility in leadership. You've got to build yourself up. You've got to create in you a new person. You've got to renew yourself every day. May come later on, and I may bring it up later on, but this little square box on the wall over here, do you know what this is? Thermostat. Now, when you wake up in the morning and you're trying to encourage and develop yourself, you got two choices. Am I going to be a thermometer or am I going to be a thermostat? What's the difference? What does a thermometer do? Nothing. It just sits there on the wall and tells you what the temperature is. It tells you, and if you see and you read and it's 80 degrees and you say, I sure am hot, thermometer. What good is it going to do you? But you walk to and that thermostat has a thermometer in it. And you walk up there and you see that it's 80 degrees and you turn it down. Then the thermostat renews that air in the room, either to heat it up or to cool it down. And we all have different temperatures that we work good in. Well, you've got to set your inner thermostat to where it's going to do the best for you and everyone that you come in contact daily. Even though that rude person that rushed to get in the checkout line before you because all the lines are full, or all those self-checkers are full, But we've got to renew ourselves each and every day. We've got to just encourage and build ourselves up so that we are the best that we can be each day. And you know what? When you challenge yourself to be good, better today than you were yesterday, then what's going to happen tomorrow? Because you've practiced today what you didn't like yesterday, so you improve tomorrow. You're going to build yourself up so that no one's going to say, here comes that person again. I really hate to check them out. You're going to be a different person. You're going to have a different attitude. And you're going to be a difference that people will notice. They may never say it to you, but they're going to notice it. Why do you know that? Because you notice it in other people. You notice in others that you associate with or around. You go into a busy place to eat and you're by yourself and, well, I'm not sitting close there. I got to find me another seat. Because that person's had an influence on you. You know, don't be that person that people are afraid to sit close to associate with, to be around, because are you not better yourselves when you're around people who are happy? Who's supposed to be the most happiest people on this earth? Us. We're that person as we walk through the community. So we don't want to be, we want to take the responsibility, and we know we have that responsibility to carry the word. We don't want to push the blame off on anybody else, because that is us. Now, here's some questions for you. When asked to do something, no, I won't say that in that manner. When there's an announcement from here or somewhere else that here is something that needs to be done, the first thing a lot of people say, well, that's not my job. You ever worked in the office with more than one person and the other one say, that ain't my job? That's not my job. Or, I don't have the training. Did you challenge yourself that morning to begin to learn in an area where that you begin to train yourself, or ask for training, or ask for help? It's a challenge for us. Another question is, I'm just not good at that. You know what? A few years ago, I wasn't good at making fried pies. But I can make a fried pie now. Years ago, I wasn't good at cooking meat on the grill to advertise for people to get for holidays. But I do a pretty good job of that now. And it's not me, I'm not bragging, I'm just telling you what the orders that I get, you know. When we post it and we get orders. I'm not the one saying that I'm good. Other people are saying that. So we got to challenge ourselves. If there's something here that needs to be done, and you're all going to hear the next word, we always need teachers. Always need teachers. You know, teachers need breaks as well. Here's another question. The elders are clueless to what's going on. That's a statement sometimes that is made. But why don't this happen? Well, you know, the elders are just not clueless to what we're doing. We don't know that. If they're clueless, guess what? We haven't addressed that with them to know whether or not that they are clueless. We haven't addressed the situation or a challenge or something that needs to be done. They may not be aware of it. So why not make sure they're aware of it and save your soul? Because you're making a statement you don't know anything about. And here's the greatest one of all. You want me to do that? Well, why do we pay the preacher? Two people doing something versus 150. What do you think is going to get the best results? What do you think is going to get more word out, 2 or 150? You got to challenge. We've got to challenge. We've got to challenge ourselves, and we got to do that each and every day. Just don't. These are all questions and things that I've talked about that is our responsibility. You know, When I say our, I can do this and I can do this, you can do this, you can do that. And then we get that multi-strand rope that accomplishes much. So be sure and accept the responsibility. Self-leaders always focus, away from others and put all that focus upon themselves, because if I'm improving myself, do I have to tell you I've improved something? Do I have to tell you that I'm better at something? If I'm improving myself and I'm doing, visually and out where people, you and others can see me do it, When others see some things that you do, they remember it. Every once in a while, somebody just on Facebook will say, somebody who can repair a rocking chair or something like that. And underneath it, there'll be 4 or 5 people. You need to contact Danny Jones. Why? Simply because I have done it for somebody and it's out there. I'm not out there. I don't put on there, I can do it. Other people see it. And if they see our Christian life lived each day like we do our physical, everyday, normal routine, and we example and show that Christian attitude and ability that we have, they don't have to ask because they see it, they know. If somebody asks them about it, then they're going to tell what you really are and what you really can do and what you are really about and what your mission is. We know what we do here today. What are we today? We're in here. Why are we in here? That's your mission, is to improve yourself and to improve each other, encourage each other, so that when we go out, they'll not only see the what we do, but they'll see the why we do it. So, be a part of it. We read in Galatians 6:1 and 2, it says, where we to encourage and to bear one another's burdens and so fulfill the law of Christ. Because we know people who are suffering or going through the same challenges that we did. And guess what? We came out on the other side of it. So who better is it to encourage and to edify and build that person up who has received it, is facing that challenge? That's me. That's you. Whether they're within this walls or outside the wall. It's encouraging when it's inside the wall, but it's building up Christ's name in the community when you take it outside this building and you encourage and build other people. But it also says there on down in Galatians there in verse 6 in chapter 6 verse 5, it says, you take the responsibility yourself, because there it says, bear your own burdens, and we can't get rid of them. We can't shed them off on somebody else. We can bear them. We can't blame it on anybody else. It's our burden. So as we carry that burden and it's seen by fellow Christians, Galatians 6:1 and 2 come in, bear ye one another burdens. So we lift each other up. So taking responsibility, that's the first way to help you lead yourself, become a better leader. Second is take responsibility, or embrace the hard way. I know that's kind of kind of difficult for me to try to explain what it is to take the hard way. But I don't know how many of you have ever handled square bales of hay. Square bales of hay. Depends on who set that machine. It could weigh 40 pounds and it could weigh 90 pounds. And you could put it on a nice little flat trailer that you can reach all the sides and all that stuff. Or you can put it in a cotton trailer that's 50 foot long. And then when you get ready to unload that, which one are you going to unload first? You going to unload the easy one? Or are you going to unload the hard one? If you unload the hard one first, guess what happens when you get to the easy one? You're not dreading that one, but you are dreading hauling those bales from that 50-foot cotton trailer. I've done that, so I know. But that's, you accept the hard way first. You accept that hard challenge first. Because if you're in a time space and you do the hard thing and it takes up 3/4 of your time and you hit the easy and you get through and you got 1/4 of your time left. You'll always gain by doing the hard task first. And your hard task is going to be me. Your hard task is going to be yourself. And once you accomplish that with yourself, everybody else is a piece of cake. Because you've already got the mindset, you already got the heart set, and you're ready to go. So take the hard way. It's okay. You've always heard this statement. I think it's called serenity, but my English is not that good. But anyway, the statement is, God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom know the difference. If you're going to challenge to change somebody else, who you got to change first? You change yourself, guess what? You could accomplish that. Changing somebody else, it may not happen. You remember when the disciples were sent out early to preach the gospel, and when it says, when you enter a city or a house and they won't listen to you, what are you supposed to do? Get that dirt off your feet. Go on, move on. Don't stand there. You're wasting your time, is what you're doing. So know the knowledge of when you're working and encouraging and edifying someone else, but understand that everybody's not going to change, because that's the way to destruction is wide. And there's a reason why it's wide, because it's easy. It's easy to travel down that road. You know, it's not hard to go to hell. You can do that very easily. But the hard task, the hard road is the narrow road. But once we have this, and ourselves totally focused upon that narrow road, then we're okay. So we want to do those things. We want to take responsibility. We want to do the hard way. We want to change what we can, you know. So, and those things that we can't change, don't worry about them. Just have the wisdom to know the difference. Y'all let me doing a lot of talking now. This is a class. So don't be afraid to interrupt or anything as we go along. Teams are always stronger than each other. We've talked about the cord of the rope. The more strings we put into, the stronger that we are. And yeah. We think about how we can encourage and lead ourselves to become better leaders. And of course, there was no greater leader than Christ himself. And you think about when early when they go to Jerusalem and worship, and he stays behind. He's in the temple listening to the people teach and asking questions. And the family goes off and they come back and find him, and their response is just like my response. What are you doing? Do you not know you worried us? You ever got your children ever got out of your sight for a minute, and then the heart rate goes up because which way to go? They had 2 days of heart rate getting up before they got back. But what was Jesus' answer to their question? Did you not know I must be about my Father's business? He's learning. Who has been teaching him that God is Father? What do you think Mary was doing those 12 years as she was coming, as he was growing up and he's being taught? But at the end of that chapter, you remember what it was said about Jesus? He went on back. He respected his parents. He went on back. And then at the very end of it, that chapter, the last verse says, he grew in stature and wisdom among men and God. So as we are, encouraging ourselves and building ourselves, are we growing in stature with the people that we work with, the people that we serve if you're work in the public? Are we showing this Christ-like attitude? Are we showing people that we are different? Are we growing in stature with people around us? And if we are, guess what? We're growing in wisdom as well. And wisdom, the Bible's full of talking about wisdom. Not only is it only talking about wisdom, it is wisdom to know what's in the Bible. And then we can conduct our lives. We'll direct ourselves as we go each day. So be sure and think about that as you, we too must be about our Father's business. And another thing about Jesus, after he comes to John and is baptized, you remember what happened to him next? He goes off into the wilderness, and he's there for 40 days. And it's, he had no food. Now, I'm not going 40 hours without food. I'm not one of these into the fasting thing. I haven't led myself enough to to get into that. But you think about how hungry he is. You remember now, he is man. He is man. So he's hungry. When does Satan get into your head? When you are the weakest. He's got that whole tackle box full of all the different lures that we have that are in life. And he's going to pull them out. He's going to keep pulling one out till he knows he's got your attention. And he says, and here's the question now. If you're the Son of God, do you not think that he knew that he was the Son of God? But he also knew that he was man. So he said, if you're the Son of God, you know, these rocks right here can become bread. Could they have? Absolutely. But did they? No. Because Jesus, every time he answered Satan, remember what the first few words were? It is written. Now, when you face a challenge, if you can't say, it is written, you got to get on that leadership part again. You got to challenge yourself. You remember the next thing that Jesus went through? He says, he took him up on this tall part of the temple there, and he says, if, again, you are the Son of God, throw yourself down. His angels will catch you. You will not harm yourself. I want you to notice two things about those temptations. He was hungry, and he was faced with doing something stupid and not getting hurt. That would have been something that we would think on the inside of us. So Satan went into the inside because he heard, it is written. Well, wait a minute, I'm not through yet. I've got a third temptation for you. He took him up on a high mountain, showed him all the kingdoms of the world, all the glory there was. And I want you to notice something. As you read that, and we read from Scripture that Satan is the father of liars, do you think Satan was actually lying to Jesus at this time? No indication. So the first two were something I can do for your body. The others is what I can do to please your eyes. I can give you all of this if you'll just bow down and worship me. Satan knows all the tricks. He's a great leader. He's a great one for us to mimic, to follow his example. And I'm going to stop right there. Got any questions or comments? We're probably a couple of minutes early, but give you a chance to do what you need to do and visit with someone before class starts. Now we're going to continue on this particular lesson again next week, because I know when I go back and review it, why did I mention that? Why did I mention that? But I thank y'all. Be more vocal next week. Thank you.